What a night. What a win for the Baltimore Ravens, who, as of this moment, they are the team to beat in the AFC. Now, you'd rather be that team at the end of the year, but it's a statement that they are that team after 9 weeks of the NFL season. It is the Project Game Day post-game show. I know there's still a minute or two left in the game as we start it, but even the Patriots aren't scoring 3 times in the final 3 minutes of a football game. The Ravens are going to improve to 6-2 on the season. They continue to be in great shape. They will not take over the top spot in the AFC. The Patriots will still have that, but Patriots have a much tougher schedule moving forward. The Ravens put themselves very much in the conversation to become the number 1 seed in the AFC. From the Live Casino Hotel Studio, Glenn Clark, Eric Arditti, BarstoolSports.com. Eric, you said earlier today, Ravens are winning this game by 10 points or more.
I felt that way on like Tuesday, and I don't know why. I just thought like it made way too much sense in my dumb brain that the Ravens were gonna. Like I said, I thought 10 points or more. So, and it looking like it's going to be that way. So.
Absolutely. I mean, it would take
after the first 15, 16 minutes, I was looking like a genius.
Right. So, I think so this game, there's a lot that goes into the conversation. There's a lot to talk about. Yeah, Paul, I appreciate it. You're still feeling like this could be jinxed. This can't be jinxed. It's a 17-point game. Like, if it was still a 2-possession game, I might have said, like, we'll wait a couple plays. It's a 17-point game. The game's over. A couple of things that jump out at me is, look, the way this game was going to start ends up being a huge part of the story, because when the Ravens slowed down late in the half, if they hadn't built up that 17-point lead, it would have put the Patriots in better position. When Marlon Humphrey ran that ball back to start the second half, and the Patriots went back down by 2 scores and were going to have to play catch-up the rest of the game, it's not that you didn't believe the Patriots were capable of moving the ball down the field. It's that you knew the Ravens' offense was still going to be plenty capable of putting together a methodical long drive, taking a boatload of time off the clock, and at some point, teams can't do that against the Ravens because of what the Ravens' strengths are offensively at this point. The Ravens might not be a team that's built to come from behind in football games this season. That might not be something that they are going to be able to do, a la what happened in the Chargers game in the playoffs a year ago. But they are absolutely built that teams are not able to come back from multiple scores behind against them in the second half. That's what they're built to do. That's what their strengths are, and that was evident as the second half played out tonight. I think the Ravens, as I tweeted a little bit ago, Eric, were significantly the better football team tonight. Significantly.
Yeah.
The Patriots put together those 2 really nice drives where they were moving the ball and chucking it all over the place and picking the Ravens apart defensively, in part because Jimmy Smith went off the field. That's what they had to show for the night. They also had 2, fumble recoveries in the first half, and that's what they had to show for the game entirely. I thought the Ravens vastly outplayed the Patriots tonight. I think part of that is the Patriots probably weren't as good as they were being painted as being. I think it's also that the Ravens, things perfectly kind of came together for them with that win in Seattle, which was it allowed them 2 weeks off, plenty of time to prepare for the Patriots, getting them at home on a Sunday night, electric atmosphere, everybody jacked, getting the ball first, converting an early third down. It just all played out. Right. It all played out perfectly for them for this to work out this way. I can't tell you the Ravens are definitely the best team in the AFC and will definitely win and go to the Super Bowl, but I can tell you that as of right now, they're the most complete of all of the AFC teams, which is a flawed conference at the moment. They're the best team of the group. They still don't really have much of a pass rush, but their all-coverage thing worked really well tonight, saying, hey, look, all of our best players are defensive backs. Let's put them all out on the field and let's see what happens. It worked really well. They probably wouldn't be able to do that against – I don't know who they wouldn't be able to do that against. I think that's what they're going to do moving forward. I don't know. There's a lot of reason to have – full belief in this team at the moment, if obviously if they can stay healthy.
And like I said, I mean, I think the defense played better tonight. I don't think they got any picks off Brady, and I don't think they got any fumbles. Or no, obviously Marlon got the fumble. But yeah, I mean, I thought they looked pretty damn good. The offense did what Lamar didn't have his MVP performance type game and tear up the Patriots, but I think he played really well.
And on those 2 drives, obviously the 2 touchdown drives in the second half, one, he made a couple of really big throws. The throw to Mark Andrews is
That was awesome. It was a great
is really a defining play, right? Like, because it was a spectacular throw. It was a little across his body. It was towards the outside.
Put it where only he could get it.
That was an incredible play from Lamar Jackson. What he did with his feet, well, that's what we know Lamar Jackson is going to do.
It's video game stuff.
So, like, yeah, I mean, it's the play where he like leaves Kyle Van Noy just helplessly looking for his balls.
That was fantastic.
Is amazing, but at the same time, you're sort of like, yep, that's also what he does. Like
that's like the fifth best run I've seen from him this year. Where it's like like last year it would have been like, oh my god, you see that? Now it's like that's normal.
Yeah, it's just sort of right.
It's like Manny Machado with his plays. Like, oh yeah, that's normal.
Yeah,
like we're normalized to it now. It's like, whatever.
You really are. You're desensitized. You're absolutely desensitized to that type of stuff. So he was huge in those spots. Their ability to grind the game out on the ground was the story, which is the story. And the way that they mix in, sometimes we say it's on the ground. Well, it's a throw to the outside that Mark Ingram can take upfield. It's that type of stuff. It's that controllable stuff where they don't have to put the ball up in the air and take chances. That's what they're going to be capable of doing for the rest of the year if they stay healthy. I was very nervous when Ronnie Stanley went down.
Yeah, everyone kind of held their breath.
Thank Christ he got right back up. Appears to be okay. I think it shows the respect that everyone has the Ravens offense right now, that Bill Belichick in a situation decided a 2nd and 8 or a 2nd and 7 was better than a 1st and 15.
Yeah.
That he said, I can't assume that I'm going to be in a better than 2nd and 7 spot even from 1st and 15. So I'm going to decline the penalty, which is it's kind of crazy. Like,
it's very Belichickian, though. Like that seems like it's the perfect thing for him to do.
Right. It's something that like he would think about and drive through it all. So yeah, I think it's the best scenario for us. The decision to go for it on 4th and 4 when the game was very much at stake, when your defense needed a breather after they had just been picked apart methodically by Tom Brady on the previous drive. You're backed up. It's a little bit easier because that's a 55-plus yard field goal. Like if that's a 50-yard field goal, maybe that's a tougher decision. I don't know. It might be that the Ravens have just decided that's who we're going to be moving forward. This is
the
who
analytics say.
We're just always going to do it. 4th and 4 on our side of the field. The argument from people that know the numbers is 4th down from your side of the field, you should absolutely never punt, right? Like you should never, ever under any scenario punt. A lot of them would say there's a lot of argument, given a certain yardage, you should never kick the field goal either, that you should just
go for it.
Continue to go for it. The Ravens decided to. It ended up being a massive play in that game. All right, let's get to some of your thoughts here on the Project Game Day postgame show. Sorry, that's me in the background. From Jonathan, we came and played and kicked some New England butt. Sure, accurate recap of what occurred today. Andrew Stecka, 6-2 is good. 6-2 is better than 5-3. That's weirdly all I really want to claim after tonight. If these two teams meet again in January, it will be so incredibly different. I don't really know if I can say that either. I mean, I do think part of this is a realization the Patriots probably weren't quite as good as everybody made them out to be because, as we kept talking about it, at least part of the story was what their schedule was.
Yeah, they played who they played, and they beat them. But again, it's like they played the one good team, and, I mean, they're down by 17 with a minute left.
Correct. Could they keep getting better offensively? They'll add in N'Keal Harry to the mix in the coming weeks. Maybe, but do we know for sure that N'Keal Harry is going to step in immediately and be a rock star type of player?
He's not 07 Randy Moss.
Right.
He's not going to change the offense.
It'll be more time for Tom Brady and Mohamed Sanu, but Tom Brady's not going to not be 42. Like, Tom... I'm not saying that Tom Brady's done or that he won't continue to play well because Tom Brady is Tom Brady, right? I don't know that this is an aberration. I think the Ravens might genuinely be a better football team than the New England Patriots are at this point. That doesn't guarantee they would win every game they played against the New England Patriots. It doesn't guarantee they would win half of the games they played against the New England Patriots. I think from 1 to 53, the Ravens might genuinely have a better football roster. Yes, they don't really have much in the pass rush. Like that's a problem that will probably come to get them at some point.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I think from 1 to 53, they might be a better overall football roster than the Patriots are.
I think they're definitely more talented on paper and the roster. Again, I mean, like you look at the playmakers they have, I almost don't think it's even a question that they're more talented than the Patriots.
From Paul, they need to do something with Cyrus Jones. We need someone else back there, and Chris Moore is not the answer. That'd be interesting to see. Obviously, Cyrus Jones, the fumble, you just can't have that. That's disastrous. When you're a punt returner, football teams say that's a defensive play, in the past, sort of changed a bit, but kickoffs were an offensive play. Punt returns were a defensive play, which is ultimately, at the end of the day, all we really care about is that you get the ball and that we have possession when this thing's said and done, whereas a kickoff was seen as a place for you to go and get some yards.
Yeah, you set the table for us.
Exactly right. Punt return, we're just sticking a guy back there. Your one job is catch the ball, make sure we finish this play with possession. If anything else happens from there, great. But your job is make sure that when this play is over, we have the football.
Yeah, keep it off the ground.
So, yeah, that can't happen. I don't know if it'll be that reactionary. We had a very similar situation earlier in the year with Justice Hill, right, where he put one on the ground and the Ravens decided to stick it out with Justice Hill afterwards anyway. So I don't know if that's going to be that dramatic.
And again, like we were talking about with Justin Bethel recovered that fumble. He knows Cyrus Jones, you know.
Dude, you knew that.
Practiced with him for 10 weeks.
If we had played like a prop game beforehand, you
will Justin Bethel recover a Cyrus Jones fumble?
No doubt. You knew that was coming at some point. Brian Powell, our resident Patriots fan. This was a perfect situation for the Ravens. The Patriots helped with ill-timed penalties and not stopping the run again. A playoff rematch at Gillette will be very interesting. The confidence with which you suggest that if the two teams played again, that it would be in New England is bizarre to me. I have no idea where that comes from. If I was setting the line right now as to which team would finish with a better record, I would 1,000%, or with the Ravens having the benefit now of the tiebreaker, if it came down to the Ravens and Patriots, I would absolutely favor the Ravens to get home field advantage in the playoffs over the Patriots at the moment. They both have tough schedules, but the Patriots look to be a more flawed football team to me at the moment than the Ravens do. Now, we're a long way from things that could develop
January home games
and health and all of those things. But to confidently suggest that the Patriots would host a playoff game if these teams were to play again, I have no idea where that would come from at the moment.
That's just a Patriots fan talking like
you're
like
so
they have
used
for the
to
last 20
it.
years.
You're so used to it.
Like they wake up and go.
I don't think there's anyone in football that thinks today that the Patriots are the better team than the Ravens are. I just don't think that's the case outside of the people that just are sort of stuck in the ardent, I've decided I don't want to be a believer in the Ravens, so I'm just going to continue to do it at this point.
That's what I was going to say, is the people who wake up and automatically just assume that.
Right. The Ravens just went to see, in the last 3 weeks, the Ravens have played 2 games. They went to Seattle and beat the MVP of the league. And then they followed it up by coming home and, frankly, kicking the crap out of the Patriots. The Ravens might not be the team to beat in the entire NFL at the moment, because I would still say the Saints are probably the overall best team with the 49ers right there. But, that's the air they're breathing at the moment. What we have seen from the Ravens of late has suggested they are one of, if not the best team in all of football. Again, I get it. They're not perfect. There are flaws. They need to stay healthy. They are a different team. When they played without Brandon Williams earlier this season, they were a dramatically different football team against the
People were
Cleveland
ready
Browns.
to shut it down for the year.
Absolutely, right? They need to stay healthy. They're not that deep. But I just don't see a world in which there's an assumption that the Patriots are a better team, or that this wouldn't be. At the moment, I think if the odds makers were setting the odds for another game next week between these two teams, I'd be stunned if the Ravens weren't the favorites. I get why they weren't this week. The Patriots were undefeated. You got to see it. But now with this to work with, I would be absolutely stunned if Vegas, were to be given a hypothetical. Let's run it back next week. Particularly if it was in Baltimore. If it was in New England, I guess I could see it. But if it was in Baltimore, I'd be stunned if the Ravens weren't favored to win that football game. From Scott, Lamar has arrived. Great performance by both the offense and defense. I don't really know that. I just don't know that the story tonight was. I don't want to take anything away from Lamar. Lamar did the things that were necessary. As the first half went along, he made some really types of throws. Not the overthrow stuff, the arm angle stuff that was asking to turn into disaster. The plays that he made with his feet, we didn't learn about that tonight. We didn't learn about that. The throw he made to Mark Andrews, that was a massive.
It was a very good throw.
Just a massive.
He probably wasn't going to make that throw last year.
Scott, guess what? Quarterback with the best hair in football is going to be the talk of the sports world. Sure. Sure. Brian Powell, he follows up by saying, I like the Pats' chances at Gillette in the playoffs. I just don't. I find it bizarre that there's this assumption that the game would be there. Like, if you said, hey, if the game was played in New England, I'd like their chances. Sure, I'd hear you.
But not the, hey, in January.
The game,
when
when
the Ravens go back up there. It's like,
okay, I mean, like,
I like the confidence, though. I mean, that's, again, the Patriots fans speaking out.
I mean, they're so used to it at this point, they can't fathom
it's hard not
anything
to.
else.
It's hard not to.
It's kind of crazy to me. As Andrew Stetka said back, and if the game isn't at Gillette, what then? You have to realize that's a distinct possibility at this point. It's absolutely a distinct possibility. Again, and I'm not trying to declare that the Ravens have won all of their games the rest of the way. I think that they could still go to L.A. and lose the Rams. I mean, every game is different. And this was a great scenario for them coming off a bye with 2 weeks to get ready for it, with all of their players getting healthy at the same time. Yep. This is the healthiest they have been all year. Jimmy Smith, we'll see what the story is. It was very weird that he left the field but wasn't in. I don't know what to make of that in the second half. We'll have to figure out how that plays out. But Jimmy Smith played really well in the first half because Jimmy Smith, when he's healthy, tends to...
very good cornerback.
Right. He tends to be really good. Unfortunately, we always have to use the words, if he's healthy. That's a great call. The NBC, their players of the game, they give a shout-out to Marshall Yanda, who... God, he's a monster, man. He is an absolute monster. Shepard, why will it be in New England? I kind of appreciate Brian Powell mixing it up. Thank you, Brian Powell. I appreciate you mixing it up with everybody and saying something crazy. Seamus is suggesting the Patriots let them win. I'm sure, Seamus, that's what occurred tonight. If you're trying to make a statement like, hey, the Patriots screwed this one up, I guess you could say that.
Yeah.
They certainly didn't play particularly well tonight, but they got punched in the mouth right out of the gate.
Very early on, and just couldn't really recover.
They did their damnedest to make it a football game again, and were fairly fortunate that things played out the way that they did in order for it to become a football game again. The Ravens were absolutely... I don't know why... maybe it's just Patriots fans can't struggle. They're struggling with this. I guess I'm used to Patriots being so good that even I was afraid to just say it. But we have to be honest about it. The Baltimore Ravens are a better football team than the New England Patriots are today. That doesn't mean they're the best team in the NFL. It doesn't mean they're guaranteed to win their games. Today, the Ravens are better than the Patriots.
Yeah, I think that's 100% accurate.
I think that's a controversial thing to say, even.
No.
They're better. This wasn't a kind of a quirky game or weird.
Yeah, it wasn't I'll bounce this way or that way. They totally outplayed them.
If it's quirky in any way, it's quirky the Ravens didn't win the game by more.
When we were also saying, they had 2 turnovers and a missed PAT. That against the Patriots is almost just a guaranteed victory for them. The fact that they could overcome that and still win by, 17? I think that shows to what this football team is.
From Chad, we are all healthy right now. That made the difference. Yeah, that's a huge story. It is absolutely a huge story in how things set up for this game, is that the Ravens were able to get healthy for this football game. There is no doubt. Now,
maybe not going forward with again.
I just don't know what to make of that. Yeah. And again, I think we can all assume that Jimmy Smith, unfortunately, will miss more time at some point because that's just sort of the story of Jimmy Smith, sadly. But there's a couple of things that you throw in there. One, you throw in, they weren't healthy and still went to Seattle and beat the Seahawks 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. They weren't healthy for that game. These guys missed that game. Mm-hmm. Marcus Peters had been on the team for 2 days, and they went to Seattle and beat the Seahawks.
Place where no one beats them when Russ is the quarterback. Yeah,
correct.
I think they said he had 12 or 13 losses at
the guy that has
Seattle.
22 touchdowns and 1 interception this season.
Made a god-awful throw.
It was unthinkable. Too. Oh, no doubt about that. It was one of the worst throws he's ever made. That guy, the Ravens went out and beat 2 weeks ago on the road. So you can, there's a few Patriots fans that have found their way to this conversation. You can do this bit where you try to make it seem like, the Ravens got fortunate. And, to some extent, yes, this was a great circumstance for them. But to try to minimize it this is only because they were coming off their bye. No. No.
I think just outplayed them.
They're really good. Mm-hmm. They're a really good football team that has one glaring weakness that they're so good in the secondary they might be able to overcome. Now, they need to stay healthy in order for that to be the case, and we'll see how that plays out.
Yep.
From Calvin, Glenn, are you ready to jump on the bandwagon? I don't know what that means, Calvin. Are you suggesting that if you listen to me or watch me or whatever, I react to things as they happen. I don't try to pretend like I can predict the future or know how things are going to play out. Mm-hmm. So I wait and I say, hey, if you want me to believe the Ravens are a Super Bowl contender, they need to go
Show me.
win games against the Seahawks and Patriots. Well, they did. So let me make this definitive statement. The Ravens are 1,000% a Super Bowl contender.
Yep.
They are at the moment, I think you'd have to say they're the betting favorite in the AFC.
I was just thinking, with who knows how Mahomes is going to be when he gets back.
Like, that would be the one sort of thing that jumps out at you, right?
If he turns it back on and is his normal self like last year.
Right.
But again, the Patriots are, like we talked about, this offense isn't just going to click, and N'Keal Harry isn't going to turn them into 07 again, and they're going to be able to do all that.
None of this is me saying the Ravens would definitely beat the Patriots again or would definitely beat them in the playoffs. I can't predict the future. None of us can. What I can say is with the evidence that we have as of today, with, for the Ravens 8 games, the couple teams 9 games, with that much evidence, the Ravens are the best team in the AFC today.
Yep.
As you point out, Pat Mahomes comes back. I know the Texans have played well, but they've also been...
They can't finish some games, or they'll give it away.
It's been a weird thing trying to figure out the Texans.
That's what they've done for years, though. But it's the same thing.
You think Deshaun Watson is so good that maybe they could go on that type of run.
Maybe they can ride on his back like the Chiefs did with Mahomes.
And I can't guarantee the Ravens will beat the Texans when they play them in a couple weeks. I can't. I'm not a future... I don't have a damn crystal ball. I can react to what I've seen. What I've seen right now, the Ravens are the best team in the AFC today. Get back to me in 2 weeks. If the Texans beat the Ravens, we'll have another conversation at that point.
Yeah.
Based on the evidence we have, the Ravens are the best team. Calvin says, I told the guys on the fan, the Patriots weren't ready for the Ravens offense. Not that many teams that are, obviously. It's a different animal, man, and it's a different animal when you make your own mistakes. You've got to come out ready to go. The Seahawks were fine. They were forcing if Russell Wilson doesn't throw that ungodly interception, the Seahawks go in and score, make it a 2-score game. Now they have to force the Ravens to open it up a little bit more.
Play from behind, yeah.
Right. That's what you've got to do as a football team. You play a game like this and invite the Ravens to grind it out in the second half.
They'd love that.
They're ready to go wear you down. They've been doing it now for an entire season, dating back to the point at which Lamar took over last year. They've got a year's worth of, this is what we're best at. You can't stop it, even when you know it's coming.
Yep.
We're going to go shove the ball right down your effing throat.
Yeah, we're going to rush for over 200 yards. We're going to do 8 and 9 minute drives that completely wipe out your defense. And
rip your heart out.
And like we saw Tom Brady when there was 7 minutes left on the bench, I'm not going to get he's dropping F-bombs saying, I'm not going to get the ball back.
You and I were talking about it off the air. It's not in that moment to me just that Tom Brady realized I'm not getting the ball back twice.
I'm not getting it back once.
I legitimately had this feeling when he was watching that, he knows in his heart he might not see the ball again in a situation that matters.
Yeah.
Was it likely the Ravens are going to grind out all of the 6 minutes? Maybe not. But at that moment, he realized, by the time I see the ball again, this game could be over.
Yeah.
Whether it's because they scored a touchdown or just because they got the ball down to there being 2.5 minutes left and I'm down by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, it just wasn't going to happen.
He realized what they were in for. You want to beat the Ravens, you've got to come out and punch them in the mouth. You've got to score points and force them to get out of what it is that they want to do. The Patriots didn't do that tonight. They had a couple chances on the first drive to try to get off the field. They didn't. The Ravens marched down and scored. They got themselves ahead of the 8 ball. It was going to be really hard for the Patriots to win. Yeah, I get that we were all kind of feeling doom and gloom when the Ravens turned the ball over twice, but what I had seen at that point made me feel like the Ravens were still the team to beat. As far as the football went, outside of 2 turnovers, they were the better football team.
Yeah,
and
easily. Like I said, I think they completely outplayed them.
Larry, the Patriots are really good at turning the ball over. Credit to them. However, I would dare to say that without those turnovers, it could have been worse. And that's what I keep coming back to. This game at least deserved to be about an 18 or a 17-point game. And this wasn't a lucky thing. This was a 17-point game that maybe could have been worse. This was an ass kicking.
Yeah.
This was a stomping.
It was an embarrassment.
That a couple of things made it probably look better than it truly was for the Patriots. This was a butt kicking tonight.
It was the number one, the defense that they were comparing to the 2000 Ravens and the old Bears teams. And
right.
They got 37 hung on.
Correct. Correct. They got obliterated.
I mean, and it was like
and
I said, it was
obviously
early.
that includes Marlon Humphrey running back a fumble. And that was in like those couple of plays. In the second half, this game could have been different had it not been for the Marlon Humphrey play and had it not been for the third down conversion to Mark Andrews. And I'll throw in the four. Those are the 3 plays of the game.
That just changed the game.
The third down conversion to Andrews, the fourth down pickup, the call to go for it, and then the pickup, and then add in the Humphrey play. Yes, this game could have gone differently. It could have been that you invited the Patriots back into the game and they did something about it. But instead, those 3 plays defined what was a butt kicking, frankly. As Scott says, to be honest, we kicked their butts. They had 2 gift TDs and still lost by 17. Real quick, need groceries today but don't have time to shop. Order online with same-day pickup or delivery at Wise Markets. Wise to go online. Now that's convenient. But I mean, we should probably peel back. Like somebody, if you're a Patriots fan, I don't know why there are so many Patriots fans that wandered over. Appreciate you. Hello. If you're a Patriots fan and think like I'm just like a Ravens homer or something, like
No.
Eric, you're not like a huge Ravens fan.
I'm a Titans fan.
Yeah, you're a Titans fan.
Legitimately a Titans fan.
This is an impartial party who's like sitting watching this and saying, I can see what's occurring here. One team was way better than the other team was tonight. Which again, doesn't guarantee anything. Paul says, "Are you all right, this is just infighting now between Ravens and Patriots fans, which is cool. I dig it. Shepard looking forward to the excuses the Patriots will come up with at the press conference. I'm not worried about that. Josh Soroka, they've proven they can beat anyone. Just stay healthy. Look, again, that's a huge part of the story. It's a huge part of the story for the Ravens now is staying healthy. They are obviously a better football team when they have their pieces. I think, like, particularly, say, 3/5 of the offensive line, they're a vastly different football team if, like, Ronnie Stanley, Marshall Yanda, or Orlando Brown were to get hurt. I think that really changes their ability to be the team that they're desperately trying to be.
Yeah, they're going to beat you up at the line and run for 200 yards.
Right. Could it be that, like, James Hurst could maybe handle himself given whatever the responsibility? I don't know that even that dooms them, but I definitely think they're a different team. I think they're a different team if Lamar Jackson obviously isn't on the field. I think there's a few guys they desperately need to stay healthy.
Hollywood.
Moving forward. Yeah. I mean, they're obviously a different team, and they at least have him available to be a threat. But I also don't know that it's just they have to be super lucky health-wise in order to win the rest of the way. I think they could lose a guy and still survive. Again, they just went to Seattle. Without Marquise Brown, without Jimmy Smith, without Patrick Owasso, and beat the best the guy that was the MVP of the league. Like, this is not a luck thing. They're a really good football team. Josh, I'd feel okay facing the Chiefs the second time. I mean, I'd feel okay. Like, I wouldn't feel like they couldn't win the football game. Like, I mean, I wouldn't feel that way at all. But it would be a challenge. There's no doubt. I think the Chiefs are a wild card. They have held their own these last couple of weeks with Pat Mahomes. They played far better than I think a lot of us expected them to play.
Matt Moore has played a lot better than anyone thought he would.
Now, bring back in the magician. They're dangerous as hell. That
changes a lot of stuff.
That's a tough thing to have to go up against, particularly remembering the Ravens still have a really tough schedule themselves the rest of the way. All right, do me a favor. I'm going to get to the rest of your comments, I promise. I just need a minute to get a commercial break in. We will grab a break, 1 minute, and then we'll come back in, and we'll get to the rest of your comments, and we'll start looking. I mean, it's the Bengals next week. God, like, everything about this tonight was so delicious, right? Like, it's the football game that everybody wanted to see. It's on in prime time. It's awesome. It's everything. They win the game, and then you follow it up next week with, it's the Bengals.
It's not even Andy Dalton and the Bengals.
Right. Well, it will be Ryan Finley's first career start, though, so we'll have that to entertain us.
Yikes.
Give me 1 minute. We'll be back in to wrap up the Project Game Day postgame show after a massive Ravens win.
Hey, this is Stan the Fan. You know we're all hoping for a special season out of our football team. When it comes to dining out casually and affordably, I know a place is special every season. The Costas Inn at 4100 North Point Boulevard. Not only are they known all over for their great steamed crabs and crab cakes, they have a couple specials you want to keep in mind. Monday night is crab cake night. Tuesday night is ribs night. Wednesday night is steak night, partnered with half-priced bottles of your favorite wines. And Thursday night is lobster night. So check out the Costas Inn this football season, and you may come back whatever the season. That's the Costas Inn, 4100 North Point Boulevard, 410-477-1975.
Need groceries today but don't have time to shop? Order online with same-day pickup or delivery at Wise Markets. Wise to go online. Now that's convenient.
This is Stan the Fan for Glen Burnie Transmissions, located right in the heart of Glen Burnie for almost 60 years. If you suspect you're having a transmission problem, GBT can save you hundreds of dollars over taking it to the dealers for a repair. Make an appointment for a free diagnostic and estimate. Call GBT at 855-728-1841. Their mission is simple: to provide excellent service at a reasonable price. Go to their website at gbt-online.com to check out all of the 5-star reviews. Let my friend Mark Schwartzman and his GBT team take the troubles out of transmission trouble. Call them today at 855-728-1841.
Respect. It's more than a word. In the U.S. Army, it is one of our core values, earned through selfless service to our nation and making a difference both at home and abroad. On the Army team, respect is earned daily. And now, in addition to earning respect, you may earn up to $40,000 in bonuses if you qualify. To learn more, visit goarmy.com/bonus or call 1-800-USA-ARMY, paid for by the U.S. Army.
Catch all of the action at your neighborhood Glory Days Grill, where we have tons of TVs to catch every moment of every game. Enjoy $6.99 burgers on Mondays, $5.99 nachos on Thursdays, and drink specials throughout the season to help you cheer on your favorite teams. Come in today and try something new from our seasonal menu. Glory Days Grill, great food, good sports.
All right, in the live casino hotel studio, it is the Project Game Day postgame show. The Ravens beat up the Patriots tonight in Baltimore to improve to 6-2 on the year. Glenn Clark, Eric Arditti from Barstool Sports with you as we continue to try to roll through some of the things you guys are saying here on the postgame show. I think Calvin's one of the guys that gets off on listening to the opponent's radio. I know that a lot of fans are like that. Like when you win a big football game, you want to go listen to their stuff to see like how miserable they are and to, just absolutely drink that in. It's not for me.
It's too much work for me to go find their radio station, download whatever app to listen to it on the phone.
I don't know. I have too much joy in these situations to worry about somebody else's misery too. Scott, I'm looking at the B-roll NBC is showing coming out of breaks. Do we have it? Okay, I'm not worried about that. Sorry.
They do. It's from Light City. I saw it on the way down.
Is that really what it is? Okay.
It's wild.
All right. When is Light City coming up again in a couple weeks? I had no idea.
It's tonight. It's like this week.
Wait, is it going on right now? Really? Yeah. I didn't even realize that. Mm-hmm. Oh, Light City's dope as hell. Mm-hmm. Oh, I
think it started Thursday or Friday.
Oh, I love Light City. That's dope. I know they combined Light City with something like the book festival. I think they decided to combine the two.
Yeah.
So they moved the time during the year, but Light City's dope. That's cool. I didn't know there was a Ferris wheel downtown. John Proctor checks in. Get in front and then stare him in the eye. Give him the old Seabiscuit. I like that, Proctor. That's not bad. AJ, what is Mark Ingram's fumble rate? He tends to cough it up more than I like to see. Proctor got the answer fairly quickly. 16 career fumbles in 1,420 carries. No, that is not not fumble prone necessarily. I mean,
no, Tiki Barber.
No, and that was not great that night. You can't give the ball up.
Also, everyone was fumbling.
And also, for the most part, Mark Ingram played really well tonight. So.
I will also say I'm surprised I didn't see one Deflategate joke with all the fumbles and stuff like that tonight.
Fair point. Josh, the Ravens now have a real shot at home field in the playoffs. Absolutely. That's why the statement from Brian earlier was so weird. Mm-hmm. Like, this is a battle now, and you now have home field. Now you have the tiebreaker against the team that you could end up be battling for a home field. Like, this is massive, not just in a small way as a statement. It's massive as a statement that now this isn't cute anymore. Mm-hmm. This isn't, hey, the Ravens are fun or plucky or anything along those lines. They're really good. And I get it because Lamar is the exciting player and because he does things that other guys don't do. Mm-hmm. I think we don't really fully tell the story when we say that, like, this is about Lamar. Mm-hmm. In fact, I almost don't think that, like, when we talk about the MVP thing, I almost think it's a little silly. I think this is really about, like, obviously Lamar can do amazing things and he's made some great plays. But, like, because their offensive line is playing incredibly well, they're mauling and killing teams in the second half running the football. I don't think this is a story of Lamar Jackson is carrying the Ravens, a la Russell Wilson carrying the Seahawks, or, Christian McCaffrey carrying the Panthers.
And also, like Lamar did last year. Like, he legitimately put them on his back for that couple
Right, that's
stretch.
a great point.
And he's not doing that this
I think this is a more complete football team that has allowed, like, what was happening late in the first half, where the Ravens were stumbling offensively and Lamar was making some really bad arm angle throws that were getting deflected, knocked up in the air. very fortunate they didn't turn into a couple of interceptions. The Ravens are more prone to be able to survive some of those things because they're a better all-around football team. They're not perfect. They're a better all-around football team. This all-coverage thing, this analytic approach is working. AJ, he's coughed it up. Oh, he's talking about Ingram. He's coughed it up a couple of crucial times this season. He needs to sleep with the football. Yeah, so sure. Don't turn the ball over. Paul, a shout-out to the officials tonight. They let the players play. Okay? I just don't get worked up about this stuff, man. I don't care.
There was the one penalty.
The one that Jared Johnson said.
Hitting the defenseless
unnecessary
receiver.
roughness, right. Josh Roca just looked it up. 4-hour drive to Miami from where he is in Florida. Might have to make a trip in early February. So this is an awkward thing for a lot of football fans where, like, you want to try to, like, maybe book a hotel now because you know if you wait, it's going to cost you $1 billion. But, like, maybe I could do it now and find something and, like, I don't know. Is it worth the shot? It's a really tricky game to play. It's a really tricky game to play. But it's fun as hell to be having that conversation, dude. Like, it's way more fun.
Last time I was here for this was the Browns game, and people were were ready to say, well, why don't we just tank? Like, let's just get a draft pick.
Right. This team
And now we're talking about, do I get a Super Bowl hotel now?
Right, correct.
Or do I wait
correct.
till
That's the conversation
after the
having.
Bengals game?
I mean, that's the way it goes, man. They've played that well.
They really have.
I can't swear to you that means they're just going to go run through all the other tough games that are on their schedule the rest of the way.
They're not going to go 14-2. Like, they're not. They're not.
Yeah, it'd be stunning if they went 14-2, particularly given the fact that they still have some really tough games on the schedule.
That 3-game stretch of the Texans,
Rams, and
at Rams,
49ers.
And then home for 49ers. That's a tough stretch. But also, people were saying this was a tough stretch too.
Right.
They were saying if you win one out of these two games, it'll be okay.
If you told me the Ravens were either going to beat the Patriots at home or go to Seattle and beat the Seahawks, I would have high-fived everyone and said, this is a better football team than I realized it was. They're going to be a threat to do some things this season. The fact they won both of them, there's just no argument right now. At the moment, they're the best team in the AFC.
And it's also the way they did both. Like you said, like the Seattle game could have gone a completely different way, and it didn't. And like maybe last year it does. Maybe Lamar doesn't make some of the plays that he did.
And they needed a little bit of luck in the Seattle game, right? Like you could argue of the two. They needed a little bit of luck. Russell Wilson had to
have
make
a brain
the
lapse.
worst throw he's ever made to conspire to get them back into that football game to allow them to do the things they wanted to do, right? Like they needed a small amount of luck in that situation. They've now combined that with, okay, we got that luck. Now we're just going to go be really good.
Now we're going to get in a fight with the Patriots and absolutely abuse them.
Yeah, this had nothing to do with luck.
No, there was no.
This was an emphatic.
The only thing lucky is that the Patriots got those turnovers.
Exactly right. To make it look like a football game. It's crazy, man. It's very uncharted waters. This is wild to be in this situation right now, where this team is this good, where we're legitimately having this conversation. And we'll see again. It's a long season, and this is officially only the halfway mark for the Ravens because this was their 8th game. But damn, dude, like damn,
that was a statement game. And again, I think I don't know if some of it was what's the one thing when the primetime schedule comes out every year. We don't have a primetime game.
Right.
It's always
in
in New England or it's in Pittsburgh or in Cincy. And this they got their home playoff game and absolutely
delivered.
Made a statement. Absolutely delivered.
Yeah. No, they got to keep it up. They can't rest on it. They can't always.
If they come out next week and absolutely lay an egg against Ryan Finley,
we will talk.
Then
right?
you just erase these 2 wins and say, okay, well,
we'll have that conversation then. But at the moment, this is who they are based on what it is that we have to work with. They are this good. And might be able, again, some of the things that we've worried about, will the pass rush thing come back to bite them? If I had to bet, they'll lose a football game this season.
Because they can't get to the quarterback.
And because other things don't go their way. And on that particular day, they had to be able to get after the quarterback, and they didn't.
And they were hitting Brady tonight. They were around him.
Yeah, I mean, they were certainly around him. I mean, obviously, he's not going to do much to elude.
He'll sidestep you every now and then.
Right, and he'll get rid of the ball. Like, he'll throw it away to prevent us. Like, that's what happened when the Earl Thomas play early in the game.
Yep.
If a play's not there, he's just going to get rid of it.
Yeah, he's not going to try and extend or do something that he shouldn't.
Unlike, say, Russell Wilson, who they got a couple of, a little bit more pressure on because he's more inclined to hold on to the ball and try to let a play develop to try to go make a play. Tom Brady will just say, if it's not there, get rid of it, move on to the next one.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. Could the pass rush get better? Maybe. I mean, Matt Judon's played really well. Credit to him. He's been awesome. I just don't know that they have much of anything else.
No switch is going to flip, and they're going to turn into Michael Strahan.
One of the things that I'd heard from a couple people is that they could try to use Owasso in more of a pass rush role. He had the big sack tonight. We'll see if maybe that's something that can develop. I don't think he suddenly makes them a particularly good pass rush group, but as they've been more comfortable with Josh Bynes and LJ Ford playing in the middle of the field, using Owasso that way makes sense. And again, trying to get as many of the corners as you can on the field because you just believe in how they're playing. The Patriots tried at one point to switch back to just running the football, right? But when you're so far behind,
it doesn't make sense.
It's tough. You feel the need to get up and go, play up tempo, get back into the game. They never really got the opportunity to see if they could just run the ball down the throats of a Ravens team that was playing that many defensive backs today, and it worked out really well.
Yep.
All right, man. You got any final thoughts? You got anything? This was easy as hell. Jesus Christ.
I'm almost just thinking ahead, we were just talking about the pass rush. When they play Watson and they play Garoppolo, those are going to be two of the guys that if there's games where the pass ruch comes back to bite him, it could be that. Garoppolo's not Michael Vick, but he's pretty mobile. He can move. So no, like I said, I came into the game being I texted all my friends, hey, the Ravens are going to win by 10 at least. And turned out to be true. It didn't look like it was going to come true after they were kind of faltering there. But I think the Ravens are a damn good football team. It's not very surprising to me that they did this, and again.
And in fairness, the AFC is kind of flawed too.
Yeah,
it is. The AFC really is kind of flawed.
Going into the season, you thought, hey, the Chiefs are going to be there, the Steelers are going to be there. People were high on the Jets, the Patriots are going to be there, the Ravens
really
are
high
there.
on the Browns.
Yeah. Oh, how could I forget the Browns?
Right.
And and the Chargers.
Yep.
And now it's all right, the cream kind of rises to the top. You're going to have. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they had this matchup again in January here.
Of course it wouldn't.
Or in Foxborough, But no. Again, it's almost like this game was over kind of early, and it was just all right, well, let's kind of play it out.
I don't know what anybody could possibly complain about right now. This is it's absolutely the best combination of two games, two regular season games in Ravens history. This is the best back-to-back game, and I get it, it's different because there was a bye in there, but this is the best back-to-back games in the regular season, to me, in Ravens history.
But yeah, it's who they beat, the players on the other team,
Correct.
Where they did it.
Correct.
And I think, I think that's 100% right. It honestly doesn't get much better than that. If there are two teams you want to beat on the road and they come back home, it's Seahawks.
It's about as much as you could possibly say.
Two of the most successful teams in the last 10 years.
Correct, with two of the best coaches, the most accomplished coaches. Correct, all of those things. I mean, this is not fluky.
No,
this is not. This is
they didn't win off a blocked kick,
right, or something
a field
bizarre
goal goes off the post and they squeak one out. It's they asserted their dominance.
A minimal part of the Seahawks story was luck, but a minimal part. A minimal part of the Seahawks story was luck. This was butt kicking. All right, really quickly, Jamie, with the consistent pass rush, this defense would be elite. I don't know that we can count on that coming, unfortunately. They don't have to be in a ball control style offense, though. Just make a few clutch stops. I'm not sure what that means, but I apologize. Josh Stroke in New Orleans. I booked my flight and hotel the week of the Super Bowl. I had to fly in Atlanta and stay 90 minutes out. I had to fly home day after the Super Bowl, and I always knew I was going, because at the time it was when I went and did my show down at the Super Bowl every year. So I had my flight into New Orleans the previous week, and I had my hotel and all that stuff already taken care of. But once they won the AFC Championship game, and I realized I was going to actually stay for the game and not come back home on Friday night, I ended up having to fly out of the middle of Mississippi somewhere. I honest to God don't remember if it was Jackson or Delta. I couldn't tell you where it was in Mississippi that we flew out of. I didn't sleep all night. We went right back on the air after the game. I don't remember anything about it, but yes, it was that type of scenario. All right, at EDD22 is how people follow you, and of course, you're doing a lot of Orioles stuff.
Orioles, MLB stuff, and now the off season we'll try and get some more creative, funny stuff there. But
BarstoolSports.com is where you see, and you're back. You got the primetime schedule with us this year because you're back in for the Monday night game against the Rams in a couple of weeks, and that should be another really fun, awesome type of night where God knows if the Ravens go.
If they go out to LA and do that, then it's
imagine if they win the next three. I don't even. let's not get ahead of ourselves. This is great. All right, I'm back with you tomorrow morning for Glenn Clark Radio at 10 a.m. I know Bradley Bozeman is joining us as he does every Monday. We'll see what else might be coming. I got a funny feeling players will be happy to chat this week. They'll be like, yeah, I'll take every call at this point.
Who has a mic? Let me start.
Right?
Let me talk.
By all means. All right, we'll see you for that. Thanks to everybody at Pressbox. Thanks to all of our great sponsors, Wise Markets, Costas Inn, Glen Burnie Transmissions, the U.S. Army Glory Days Grill. Thanks to the Ravens for making this a lot of fun. This has been Project Game Day. The NFL Chick is back with me next week. Sarita Hubbard will join me post-game for the Bengals game. We'll see you then.